Brash is a battle rapper, a producer, a songwriter, a blogger, and dickbag. This is the art of hip-hop. Talking with underground rap's best MCs. And here's your host, Brash.
Yeah, nice soft beat to set off this podcast. This is Brash for the Art of Hip Hop. You can check me out at the artofhiphop.net, cthiphop.net. I can't afford .com, so I get .nets. Every episode we sit down, well, I sit down. I don't know why I said we. There's just one person running this show. I sit down with an artist and I talk about that artist's perspective in life. The conversation is, of course, all over the place, from where they came from, why they do, what they want to obtain. A lot of battle rappers, a lot of artists. Tonight, I've got my buddy Miller, who I recently did a strange thing with this guy up in Bella Terra. Bella Terra is a hippie festival where ladies show up in peasant dresses and dance around. I had a compliment battle with him. We drew a small crowd of about maybe 40 hippies, and in front of these people and about 20 cows, I told this cat that he had the nicest snow hat of anybody I've ever seen, and I told him I hope that his mother lives a long and healthy life. So he's a pretty interesting artist. He makes really dope music. It's not, it's not a typical kind of rapper we're dealing with here. And he's been putting it down for the 413, which is a league that I fuck with heavily. So hey Miller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
I'm enthusiastic. That was like such a great introduction. I feel like now I'm obligated to live up to it.
Yeah.
And
well, you better.
Yeah. I said Brash said really nice things about me, and then I said really awful things about him.
Yeah, that was great.
It was an abusive couple relationship.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
The wife who's cooking and cleaning, and I'm just like, fuck you. And it was just like, afterwards I felt really like I should have been much nicer.
Who gives a shit? Dude, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I didn't know you were going to go that route, but I also didn't give a shit. So
yeah, that's one of the things I like about you, is that you're not like, I knew going into it wasn't going to be something of like, okay, Brash is here for the W. Like, he's going to talk about my kids. Like,
yeah.
And like, that's something like I've had to deal with a lot, because most of my battles have been like really personal. And so it's like, going into them, I have to have like this 8-bar nuclear bomb scheme. Like, if you bring up my kids, I'm going to talk about like that girl you've been with. And like, I don't like doing that, but it is like an insurance thing. And so it was nice to have a battle where I didn't have to like go in and like be like, all right, Brash wears women's clothing on the weekend. Yeah. Nobody knows. Like, it was fucking cool to not have to be like digging through your past. Like,
well, the other thing about it too is that it wasn't like a stressful situation. Like, sometimes getting into those battles where I have to throw some negativity at people, I feel stressed out, man. It's a stressful event to sit there and call somebody a cunt in front of like 100 people.
Yeah.
You know?
And they bring their friends, and like, you never know. There's always a threat of violence.
Yeah, like, there always is. Yeah.
Like, people want to acknowledge it or not. Like, part of a battle is like saying like, okay, I respect the fact that like, if this person doesn't like what I say, they can hit me, and I can't. Like, maybe someone will call the police or something, but like, there's going to be a fight.
Yeah, and, you really do have to be ready to defend yourself if necessary at these events.
Yeah, and I'm screaming cunt in people's faces. Like, nobody likes to be called a cunt. Like, nobody wakes up on it like, and is like, today I'm going to get called a cunt. Like, it's just, there's like my last battle before you was with this kid Logic, and like, one of his friends was like hostile, he's staring at me the whole event, and then like afterwards was like shaking my hand, and it was just such a weird thing, because it's like, if you really feel like that hostile like over like battle rap, which to me is a sport.
Yeah.
Like, I Detroit Lions fan. I fucking love the Lions. Like, they're playing the Patriots now. I'm not going to go like punch Tom Brady tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I'm not going to go like looking for players from the other team. Like, I hope my team wins, and if they lose, I hope they get better. But like, in battle rap, it's so weird, because people like really take it. It's like, it's pro wrestling, really. It's me and the dude have agreed to say bad things about each other and not fight over it. Like,
yeah. Exactly. That's what the agreement is supposed to be from the jump. No violence, just shit talking.
It's a gentleman's agreement that, like, you know, we're going to enter into this thing that is, like, culturally relevant. Battle rap is certainly, like, a cultural phenomenon. We're going to enter into this thing to see who's better. And, like, 99% of the time, half the people think I'm better and half the people think he's better. And that's awesome.
Well, the thing about art, not to get too artsy-fartsy about this shit, but the thing about, if you're doing any kind of art is like it's like a flavor. You know what I mean? It's like no matter what kind of art you do, there's always a market for it, and that's why a lot of these people who take losses like wimps, like you got to take your lumps like a man. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it. Like Illiterate beat me at Bellaterra. I didn't cry about it. You know, he didn't body bag me, but I'm not gonna.
I'll fucking name names.
Oh, yeah?
After the last battle thing, I was like super offended at the way Imperial X had any pretense of being like, they pretended I lost. Like, there are times in life where you take an ass whooping, and like all of us are taking them. Like, you know what I mean? Like once a kid gave me a black eye, he hit me, and like I couldn't go to school the next day and be like, you know what? Like I fell into his fist, and like if God forbid I had fell to the left, like it would have been an ass whooping for him. He beat the shit out of me. There was nothing to do. We could fight again. But, like, I couldn't take that ass whooping back. And, like, Imperial X got destroyed. And, like, I like him. He's cute. You know what I mean? He's like a little puppy. Like, nobody thinks he's great, but, like, you acknowledge that he exists. But for him to be on the internet, like, I'm one of the best ever, pay me for battles, is like, are you fucking kidding? Like, this is a hobby, and you're not good at your hobby. Like, a dude literally says you're awful in the middle of your battle. Like,
yeah.
It's not going well for you. The dude in the middle of your battle critiques you and is like, this is a poor decision you're making, engaging in this.
Wait a minute, who said that to this cat?
A dude, so if any of you get the chance, the Imperial X versus Lord K battle. If you go to Imperial X's third round, there's a point where he pauses for a reaction, because when he writes this stuff, he anticipates there being a huge reaction. There's no reaction. But what happens is a guy who is just in camera shot, like perfectly in range, looks at him. He's like with his girl, holding a drink, looks at him and goes, "You're awful." And just like in that voice goes, "You're awful," and looks at him and then like walks off screen. And it's like a sitcom scene. Like he just says, "You suck," and then like walks away. And it's like, it's one of the saddest. It's the Hulk. It's Bruce Banner walking down the street at the end of the Hulk show, like in the sad music playing. Like he's condemned to a life of sadness. At the end, I fucking killed him. Nobody appreciated I killed him. And like I was like, there's some battles like, and this will probably be the first time I say this, is that I think Frank White beat me at my first event. The judges thought I won because of whatever material he used. But when I went home that night, I felt like I lost. And so, you know, I knew, like, lyrically I didn't show up. Yeah. Something happened. I lost my shit.
I watched that battle. I watched that battle. I felt like it was awkward.
It was very awkward.
You were trying to, like, be jovial about it, and he's just like, yo, I'm really going to snuff this kid. And you're just like, huh? All right, whatever, man. Just do your thing, then.
He's like, I'm going to punch you. And, like, this kid Eric, who, if any of you get the chance on Facebook, it's Shit Eric Says. It's a wonderful Facebook page. Oh, yeah. There's a point where Frank White says, I'm going to punch you in the face. Or something to the effect of he's going to hit me. And, like, I'm not going to do anything. Because obviously, me and him both have kids and families. We're not going to fist fight. He feels like he's lost some of his manhood and needs to respond. So, but this kid Eric, like, really quietly goes, like, don't do anything, Earl. It's not worth it. And the way he said it was like a gunfight was gonna happen, and like he needed to like save the crowd. Like it was very dramatic, and like I just think one of my favorite moments in a battle is just this kid being like, "It's not worth it. Don't do it." It just is fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's something I appreciate about you, is like that you kind of go into battles like, you know what, I might lose, but if I lose, whatever, I still make good music. Like,
right. That's the way I look at it. A lot of these battle rappers don't really make music. Like Illiterate, I was surprised that he made it. He was just like, I just haven't put any out. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But, yeah, I know I got a leg up on a lot of these dudes as far as like the music goes, but I learned about this whole being an artist thing. It's never going to go the way you want it to go. There's always just another river of shit around the corner. It doesn't matter if you're Jay-Z or fucking, you know, someone like Esoteric. It's eventually all going to turn to a river of shit for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's a shitty pipe dream. It's like, you know what it is? It's like, when you take it as like, this is going to be a way I feed my family, I think it's infinitely depressing.
Yeah.
Because there's 1,000 views at that goal. But like, I look at it like, you know, I have a lot of like angst in my life, and this is like a place where I can get it out. Like, battle rap is an arena to get a lot of anger out. The music I make is pretty down tempo, pretty. I've heard people call it Angster rap. I would not completely be opposed to that.
Wait, what do they call it?
Angster rap, like gangster rap minus the G. Angster rap.
Oh.
It's like it's angsty, aggressive music, and
nice.
I like it. And you know, I think I do it because I like making art, and I think some people appreciate it, and that's cool. And like, the fact that I found a small audience that's willing to pay for it is even cooler. But at no point did I expect that. Like, I keep my budget. My budget for an album is incredibly low. I pay less. I've paid less to make 5 albums, which is where I'm at now, than probably most people pay for one album. I'm still under $1,000, well under $1,000.
Nice. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Don't throw a lot of money into it, man, because let's be honest, nobody really buys CDs anymore. They all look at them and go, oh, that's nice, and then they stream it off of Spotify, and if they like it, they download it to an iPod, and that's pretty much it. You know, they don't... Guys like you and me, if we want to make money, we got to do road work. Like, we actually have to go out and just book as many things as we possibly can. And even then, you know, you're going to get the promoter that's going to want to jerk you for the $60 he promised you for the, you know what I mean? But it's not like...
yeah, that's one of the things that killed our scene, was like, as much as I love battle rap, to speak candidly, battle rap has really killed the scene as far as, like, people don't want to do shows, because, like, it's easier to not pay a headliner and just have a really heated battle. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm stepping back from battle rap. Is like, I want to do shows, and I think one of the things that needs to happen is like, you know, not everybody can do battles. And like, it's crazy because like, I think you had the chance to see one league and not realize that there are probably 5 other leagues that have opened up here since we did.
Oh, really?
Which is insane. Yeah, there's one that operates out of barber shops. There's one that just recently kind of opened up and is like offering, if you pay $75, you get entered into a tournament, and the winner gets $500 and a chance to battle DNA, which sounds like bullshit, and it's probably just a way to get $75 out of a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
And then never have battles happen. And then there's been like people talking about doing like, you know, freestyle battles and all this shit, and like, it just became a thing of like, nobody's doing shows. All the cats who don't want to battle like hate battle rappers, so it's like, the shows that are happening you can't get on because you're a battle rapper, and it's become really caustic for the scene. So I'm just taking a step back, kind of like, I don't need to do shows with rap acts.
Yeah,
I don't really fit in with rappers in general. Like, I think the music I make is like not, you can't really put me on a set with a lot of like rappers every weekend and it's going to go over.
I think that's why you and me get along so well, because I've tried to fit into the I'm a rapper box. I don't really well. You know what I mean? Like, I love hip-hop, though, and I love putting out rap music and all that, but I don't...
Absolutely.
You know, I even said it during our compliment battle. We're a couple of average-looking dicks, man. I'm not really like... I don't look like a rapper. You don't either. No offense, but we don't look like somebody you would look at and go, oh, that's an MC. You know, but
people,
it is what we are.
Like,
but
like, I need to work out, and like, I feel like that takes away from like the fact that like, I think I'm a pretty fucking dope rapper. I think like, if you put the music I make up against the majority of people out here, it's not really a competition. I make songs that tell a story and like are honest on a really gut level, and like, you know, it's not just like, there was a kid out here named the Verbal Surgeon who like didn't like me because like I don't promote myself.
The verbal surgeon?
Like the verbal surgeon. And I'm sure he's going to listen to this because he's one of those kids who like listens to anything with his name mentioned. Like, you're the verbal surgeon. I'm not worried about you. Live your verbal surgeon-y life. Like, you have an awful rap. You know what it is? If you were on a rap message board in the early 2000s,
the verbal surgeon.
You knew a dude named the verbal surgeon, and like he does a lot of
does
shows,
he call himself?
But
he calls himself that in like social settings, like, "Hey, verbal surgeon, want to go get a sandwich?"
I don't know if he wants you to call him verbal or surgeon, but I'm assuming it's like he wants you to call him like CS or something, like some cornball shit. It's just an awful name, and like,
yeah, it's really bad.
I went through a bit of a breakdown. Like, you know, admittedly, like I went through a period of time where like I couldn't, and he was like, "Suck it up," and I was like, you know what, go fuck yourself. Like, you're a shit rapper. You have an awful name. Yeah. Like, you do a million shows, but you do a million shows because you're willing to pay for shows, which to me is like demeaning. Like, the idea that, like, I'm going to pay every weekend so that I can perform, so that the same 20 people can buy tickets to see me perform is, like...
Yeah, pay to play is just whack. The only way to really make money...
Me.
Yeah, the only way to make money is to be your own promoter. To talk to somebody who owns the room and go, "Hey, I got this show I want to do. What can we do? All right, you get this." And then, I don't know, I always fuck it up because I try to pay everybody. You know what I mean?
I recently started dating a girl who is in like an acoustic R&B singer, and like she gets shows by like calling the venue and being like, "I sing and I play guitar. Can I play?" And they're like, "Cool." And like, I'm realizing that that's an option. Like, just to call venues myself and be like, "I want to play," and I have 20 people who will pay to come see me. And like, being that, I've been on a good amount of flyers. Like, people know who I am, which is weird, but people generally have an awareness that I exist.
Yeah.
So
same with me, man.
Book me.
I
don't know.
Did you know this about me? I've opened up for some like bigger names in my time. Not that it fucking matters, but I'm
interested in the list.
Yeah, man. I've like Jurassic 5. I've Method Man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. Back when the Webster was privately owned. Before whatever that corporation was that came in and took it over, the Webster in Hartford, I had it on lockdown. It was great. I had a manager. I was signed to a label, and then I moved to New York City and was like, "Fuck this," though, because they didn't want to put out my record, man. They basically saw that I was making good music, and what they wanted to have happen was have a retainer on me, so that if I had a hit, they could just cling on and get a bunch of money. And I was stupid. Oh. I was like 24 or 23 when they found me. And, they were like, "Sign this contract." I read it. It was a 360 deal. And I'm like, I don't know. And then the manager that I was working with was like, "Well, 360 deals are the future. And here's the thing. They want a one-album deal with like an option for a second. So we're just gonna put one record out with these people and then try to argue our way out of it because it's not really an airtight contract or whatever, right?" So yeah, basically what ended up happening is they didn't hear the single that they thought was going to propel me to stardom. So instead of just, all right, well, we signed this contract. We don't, they weren't much older than me. They were only like 3 years older than me, those guys. So they're like, 28, whatever, 27. Looking back on it, man, if I were them, I would have just put out the record and let it do whatever it was going to do. But instead, they 2 years of my life, I had to argue with this record company about, get me off of your record label now. And arguments about, like, why can't we move forward and do something? Well, we just haven't heard what we want to put out. What are you talking about? It's bullshit, man.
That's one of the things that kills me, like, from ever wanting to have any involvement with any sort of record label, is that I do make very, like, not maybe marketable music. And so, like, when you do that, the expectation is that you change your sounds. I listen to a lot of, like, artists, and, like, whenever they sign a major deal, it's always, like, a big celebratory thing, and then the music suffers.
Yeah.
The music immediately suffers. It becomes soft garbage.
Well, a lot of the pain goes away. because you have money and you have a lot of things handed to you once you get that major label money. Like, I wasn't on a major label. I was just on like a couple of schmucks that they really didn't know what they were doing with me. They had an idea of what they wanted to accomplish, but it was all based off of the work that I was going to do, that they were then going to, like, they brought my music to 50 Cent's manager because, you know,
crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, well, 50 Cent's manager thought I was a pile of shit. He basically told them, like, this sucks, and fuck you for bringing this to me. And after that, that's kind of when it was apparent that this wasn't going to go anywhere good for me. You know what I mean? So
I had a friend who wanted me to pay $100 to rap for Beanie Siegel once. And I was like, do you know that I could just throw $100 away? Like,
yeah.
I could just make it not exist anymore. Like, the odds that
what would Beans do? What would he do?
You know, he's like starving himself, and like, it's always this expectation of like, I know somebody who knows somebody, and like, okay, congratulations, that's not gonna fucking help me.
Yeah.
And like, anyway, like, what does help look like? Like, unless it was like, one of my favorite record labels is Fake 4 Records out of New Haven. They're out of Chesky. They're a really solid record label, and what they do is like just support artists. And like, one of the coolest things they do is that they so when they put out an album with an artist, there's a cap on how much money they can make. And once they make that amount of money, the album goes back to the artist.
Nice.
They get 100% ownership of their own material, which to me is ideal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I make the record.
I remember when I first heard of that record label I was friends with Blackistan once upon a time, and when he was working on his first record, he was working with a group called Blue Sky Black Death.
Yeah.
He did a song with them for like his first like album that he released on Brick Records. So I was just like, Blue Sky Black Death. He was telling me about it. I'm like, yeah. That's how he talks. Yeah. But he told me about Blue Sky Black Death, so I checked them out, and then I was like, oh, they're out of New Haven is where I thought they were from. They're actually from Seattle. So then I looked at I looked at their music and was just checking out their bio and stuff, and I'm like, Fake 4 records. There's 4 things that aren't real. I don't know.
It's very much a, like,
it's a stupid name, sorry, but they're doing legit things, but it's the dumbest name I've ever heard. And I don't mean to offend anybody, it's terrible. But some terrible names work for some people, you know? Like, my name's Brash, that's a stupid name, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I've had like shitty rap names. My last rap name was BJ Penn, after the mixed martial artist, and it was so abysmally shitty. And like, one day someone called me in public when I was with my kid. I was just like, oh my god, I can't use that rap name anymore. It's fucking awful. It's really bad. Like, my dad was like, who's BJ Penn? And I'm like, nobody. Dead. Fucking awful.
I was confused. I just thought you were an artsy dude who just didn't like give a shit about the label on what people called you, because I noticed that your this would probably be a good time to plug your Bandcamp and shit. I mean,
I have a Bandcamp. It's BJ Penn with one N, BJPEN.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started it. My first 2 projects were under BJ Penn, and it was such a shitty name. And for some reason, I thought it was brilliant. And it started out as I
don't think it's bad.
Drunk. When I was younger, I got super wasted, and I told the girl that I was the lead singer of an acoustic folk band called the Black Jesus Experience and Friends. And so, like, when I got to it, I was like, that has BJ in it for the Black Jesus. And it was such a cornball thing. And then,
you never went by Black Jesus, did you? Because there was a rapper around the way. No? All right.
I should have. I'll battle anybody. I'll be Lex Luthor, the 800th, and fucking everyone can suck my dick. So what happened is I was Googling myself, because I'm that much of an egotistical douchebag. I was Googling myself, and someone had posted my lyrics up on like Rap Genius. and the attached profile was for the mixed martial artist DJ Penn.
No
There's
shit.
like a picture of this small Hawaiian man, and I was like, shit, I picked a name that has no attachment to me at all.
I wonder if my shit made it up on Rap Genius. Probably not.
I
actually sold okay for somebody who's completely unknown. Undergroundhiphop.com helped me out a lot.
Yeah, that used to be huge. Remember when they had the Poison Pen blog? They used to have a Poison Pen blog I used to check out.
They used to also do the Wheezy of the Week, making fun of Lil Wayne once a week and stuff. So. Yep.
I used to fuck with them heavy. That was when I went on all hip hop all the time. I was a member of rap forums, and I used to I was a text rapper way back in the day, which is such a corny thing, but at the time I was like, yeah, man, it's just so much better than actually rapping, because I had no concept of flow. I was just an awful rapper when I was younger, and it wasn't until I really started listening to a lot of indie cats. I'm really into Doomtree, POS, Gessa, Sims, Mike Micklin. I like Greaves. I don't know if you're aware of who he is, out of I think Seattle.
No, I don't know. Wait, what was the name again?
Greaves.
Greed.
He's on Rhyme Sayers, which is the indie all-star team, and but I was into a lot of those cats, and then I really discovered Atmosphere and Idea, and for a long time I rapped every kid who grew up in New England. I rapped a New York kid. I tried to sound like 50 Cent, and it was just fucking shy. I don't have the voice for it. I'm not a menacing dude in real life. So
I can't imagine you rapping like that. I really can't. I would love to hear it. But.
I did some horrorcore shit that is on the internet, and I have managed to keep hidden. And when I stop battle rapping, I'm gonna post it up. It is I went through a horrorcore phase after I discovered the Gravediggers, and it is fucking bad. It's awful, and when I listen to it, I get the fucking douche chills.
You know what we should do?
That,
I think this would be fun to get you, me, and some other hip hop heads together. People who have been making rap music, and just sit down with some of our early material. Bring the worst that you can bring. Bring your worst song, and we play all of them. And just feel that.
I'd be down, but it would be it's one of those things of afterwards I have to listen to all my new shit to reassure myself that I'm competent.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful. It's one of those things of I don't think I'm working with some local artists as a job. I work as somewhat of a mentoring program, but more of kind of just showing people the ropes. And one of the things I think young artists don't necessarily have an appreciation for is how much you have to suck before you get good.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I've experienced that, man. I looking back on what I've been through, I got that record deal way too early, man. If I had that now, I probably would have done more. Back then I thought I was awesome without even really putting in the work.
One second. I'm at my dad's house. And he's very, very drunk. Just 1 second. You get to hear my drunken father.
Nice.
Fucking
Put him on the phone.
Put him on the phone. Dad, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. Thank you. I'm on the phone.
Tell him you're on the fucking radio.
I'm on the radio. All right. Fucking, my dad gets loose. My dad gets fucking. He's fantastic, but he's one of those lovable drunks. He's just he very much just wants to express his compassion. It's my dad is one of it's just so I very recently ended a long-term relationship. So I'm back at my folks' pad, which is cool. Fuck it. And compared to most rappers, most rappers are settled in their mom's basement. So fuck you if you're judging me. I'll fucking go kick your mom's cardboard trailer park house down. Fucking, yeah. So.
Well, you can't say fuck on the radio, you fucking. You.
Fucking. You fucking. My neighbors are all like old white people. They're probably all like super offended. Like, what the fuck?
Nice.
Crazy niggas. They're just old white people. I'm really afraid someone's gonna Trayvon Martin me. Like when I like walk to get cigarettes. Like, just like I'm standing my ground and shoot me in the face. Like,
Jesus
all old
Christ.
white people. They're so terrified. Like one day I was walking and a woman was walking her dog in the morning. I was like walking to the bus. And, like, I didn't even mean to surprise her, but she turned around, and she was so shocked, she, like, fell down and almost landed on her dog.
Yeah, because you're menacing.
I'm just like, damn, bitch, have you never seen a black person? Like, I'm not even that black. Like, I'm light. Like, what
you're
are you
caramel.
doing? Like, I'm like, why are you? I'm caramel, which is one of my favorite lines, caramel. It just, like, fucking, it's like she was so scared. I'm just like, Jesus, have you never seen a black person? Like, is this a new thing for you?
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to be this scared. Like, it's the morning. Who gets mugged at, like, 8 o'clock in the morning?
Hey, if you're a crackhead and you've been up all night, well, maybe not, I don't know.
Not in this neighborhood is, like, this neighborhood is one of the, so Springfield is the most segregated city in the country.
Yeah?
So... It is.
Oh, that's where you are right now? You're in Springfield?
Yeah, I'm in Springfield. It is statistically the most segregated city in the country. So, like, there are spots in Springfield where you can go almost block by block, and it is, like, white, Puerto Rican, black, Puerto Rican. Like, it's very, like, segregated. So, like...
Where were you when you lived in Michigan?
I was in Niles, Michigan. Shout out to the 269. All my peoples in the 269, where are you at? And which is like across the line from South Bend, Indiana, and it was like when I was out there, it was like very much like a Twista. Like Twista was just really popping with like his Kanye record. And,
oh
like,
yeah, I remember that era.
Everybody was rhyming fast, and like here I come with like I'm a pretty slow flow New York East Coast cat. Like even then. And, like, everybody's rhyming fast. And, like, there was a lot of juggalos. It was just fucking...
No shit. What made you go out there? Oh. And that town is, like, that's right near the fucking, like, time zone line, right? That's got to be a confusing place to live at if you live right near a time zone.
So, when I moved out there, and they've since changed it, but Indiana used to not do the time zone thing. So, we used to go drink in this bar. And what the trick was, like, you could go there and drink till 2 o'clock. And as soon as you crossed the state line, it was only 1, and you could drink again for another hour.
No
you
shit.
Could really drink. So you could drink like all night, and like nobody would like say anything. It was pretty fucking phenomenal. I mean, for like a kid who is like all about drunk in public.
Yeah,
it's fucking the best thing ever.
That sounds like fun.
I mean, yeah, it was fun for a time, and then it stopped being fun, and then it stopped being like, and it was like, all right, this is bad life decisions.
But
and like,
that's gotta be so fucking confusing though if you're talking to a buddy who one town over is an hour later than you, and then it's like, hey man, you want to meet at 1 o'clock for lunch? Yeah, my time or your time, you know?
Yeah,
that shit would bug the fucking shit out of me.
You very quickly learn to like deal with the fact that like one town over, like, and literally like where I lived was like maybe 5 blocks over with a different time zone.
No shit.
So it was like very weird. And like it was very. I worked at a Walmart, which is like one of the worst experiences of my life. It was like where I really got into like writing songs there, and so I would
You got
write
fired,
songs.
didn't you? You got fired from Walmart.
I got so fired. So
what happened?
My Walmart
Tell me how you got fired,
story.
please.
It's phenomenal. So here's the story. And so I figured out very early in my time at Walmart that I was not going to be progressing up the chain of command, that there was no assistant manager position for Miller coming up. So I learned this trick from there was this old crackhead who, I think he was on meth at this point. And what he would do is that he would go to lunch and he would pretend to clock out, but he would stay clocked in and he would go to lunch. Then he would clock in, he would clock out, he would clock back in, and he would go home for the rest of his shift. Then he would come back in the morning. So he worked half his shift because he worked in one of those super Walmarts with like 150 people.
Yeah.
And if you disappeared, they just never knew. And so like,
Jesus.
I just did that shit for 4 months. I worked half my shift. And then one day I fucked up and I went home and I fell asleep. I was like hanging out with this girl, and I go back and I punched back out, and I look over and my supervisor's there, and I'm realizing I'm in my fucking pajamas. Like I haven't been home and changed into my fucking. I'm in like Stewie Griffin pants, and like I'm fucking fired, huh? And he was like, "Yep."
Nice.
They gave me a decision day where they like were supposed to mull over whether they were gonna fire me or not, where they paid me, and I just used all that money to take my friends to Hooters, and I never showed up for like my big like talk about it meeting. It was fucking sucked. Like I
would have showed up and just taken the medicine. Like, yeah, well, I can just lie a bunch and get unemployment. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done.
I wasn't smart enough to do that, and I really, like, in hindsight, wish I had done that with jobs since, where it's like, this job sucks, but how can I get to unemployment? But, like, at that time, I was just like, Walmart sucks a dick. It was awful. Yeah. They were always yelling at us about shit that, like, didn't have any, like, quotas. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I work for Walmart. You make billions of dollars a day. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, it's not, whether you make money or lose money.
A buddy of mine back in high school who was the biggest pothead got a job at a Walmart. He would smoke just all the time. And they called him and were like, hey, we want to hire you. And he went, okay. Well, funny thing about that is I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks tomorrow. And I guess he just exercised and drank a ton of water. Got hired, but then he got fired like a month after he got hired there for using his discount when he wasn't supposed to, thinking he was slick or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember. But
I paid my rent. I paid like half my rent with my discount. I lived in my mom's basement at the time, and so I just gave her my discount card, and I was like, just count that as half my rent. And I paid her money.
Yeah.
Just fucking. It was like the worst thing ever. I used to just steal from there every day. Like, I would bring a backpack to work.
Well, why not steal from there every day? That's like...
Because nobody cares. I would just fill it with, like, cans of Gatorade and, like, fucking protein sticks, and then I would just go home and, like, sleep. I worked third shift, so I would just steal all night, like, anything I could get my hands on. Like, one day, some guy said his kid was missing, and they were just like... I was like, he didn't come in here with the kid. And they were like, well, you gotta look for his kid. And he just, like, walked out with a shopping cart full of shit. And they're like, are you gonna chase him? And I'm like, fuck you, I make $5.60 an hour. Like, there's people in China who, like, are the manager of the sweatshop who make more money than me. Go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not...
I hear you.
Like, I'm not, like...
Why
I'm not
anything?
Getting shot.
Yeah,
I'm not getting shot by a meth head for, like...
merchandise. That I don't...
Sold Game Boys.
Yeah.
They're gonna give a fuck. Like, it has to be something very serious for me to risk, like...
Instead of hiring a loss prevention employee, just pay everybody else more to not steal.
Oh, they didn't even fucking hire a loss prevention employee.
Really?
They put in fake cameras. Like, the cameras, they would switch them out around Christmas so that, like, they could really check the store, but, like, 9 months out of the year, there were no cameras.
That's so, really weird, man.
Once we realized there was nobody there making sure things weren't stolen, we just stole everything. Like, everyone would go, like, you would just, like, if it was someone's birthday coming up, I would just steal it. I would take it. I lived, like, 3 blocks away from Walmart. I would just throw stuff out the back door, and I would drive and pick it up later. Like,
that's
take
awesome.
it home and wrap it. Fuck Walmart. Like, it's just so, and everyone does it because it's just such a shit. You know what it is? Is, like, I watch them, like, overwork old people. And, like, there was, like, door greeters who were, like, in wheelchairs, and they would be like, you can't sit in your wheelchair. Like, you have to sit in this chair. And then they would take the chair away. There's be this old, hobbled old man, like, standing. And I was just like, this company sucks.
Why would you not let an old man sit in a chair? I don't get just
I don't know. It was like a weird power trip. Like, one of my fondest, and this is fucked up. Whatever. The guy who owned this, like, the store manager, was like a cunt, and he would always tell us, like, well, we wouldn't get paid, but he had arranged for us to get a discount at the YMCA, like, because that was his thing, was that we weren't in good enough shape, which is such a cunty thing to do when you're overworking people.
Yeah,
but
to tell them that they're out of shape on top of everything else.
When I left, like, 3 months later, he was jogging and just had a brain aneurysm and died. And I thought
really?
it was, I was at the time, like, he just had a brain aneurysm and fucking fell over one day. And everyone was all sad, and I was like, he's a fucking douchebag. Everyone here is, like, starving. Half the people are on fucking food stamps.
Yeah.
And, like, if his life's work was to, like, make more money for rich people, then, like, who gives a shit? Like, he tried to sell us YMCA passes. Like, fuck that. It wasn't even like we got free YMCA passes. We got the.
But he's dead now. For real?
He's dead. He's dead. He's very dead. And he's very dead. That's what I'm saying. It's fucked up.
I always thought it was weird
dead.
that if you're an asshole in life and you treat people like just basically what he was, and then he dies instantly, everybody thinks that person was awesome. It's weird.
Like, oh no, it's such a tragedy for the community. And it's like, no, he ran like an American sweatshop. They're like an asshole. He doesn't care. They like pollute the community. Like, give a fuck. Yeah, but you know, it's so weird because it's like, then like there's the opposite, like where like if you get caught doing any sort of crime, you're like, if they find you with a blunt, you're a criminal. Like,
really stupid.
It's really like, I just like, there's something about like the dynamic of like society in America where like we have to think in these definites that is like infuriating to me, because you know, one of the things I do for at work is like we have these discussions about like mental health illness and like how arbitrary it is. But like, you know, if they say you're crazy, they can instantly take away your rights. You know what I mean? They can put you in a hospital, which is the same thing as a fucking prison. The door is locked when you get in there. You know what I mean? They can monitor how much you talk to your people. And like, and the reality is that like mental health diagnoses are not a scientific like thing. They're very much like the DSM, which is the like diagnostic Bible, is voted on. It's not like there's a guy doing a scientific test to see if you're a schizophrenic. Like, schizophrenia is like very much not a specific thing. It's just something that someone made up.
Yeah.
And like people agreed. But it's not like a real thing. And so like, but they'll put people in the hospital for that shit.
I don't know, man. When I was a kid, I went to rehab, and I remember part of what the learning experience was there when I was 15 was sitting in a circle, and there was a guy up in the they called it the loft at Stonington Institute in North Stonington, Connecticut, and we were up in the loft talking about whatever. There was one person talking about the drugs they had done or what they were, you know what I mean, and I'm sitting in a circle of people, and a part of that experience is drinking a lot of coffee. That's what I remember from rehab more than anything else, is lots and lots of coffee. And I can't believe that was 15 plus years ago now. Oh my God. I remember when I was 25 being like, that was 10 years ago I was in rehab. But anyway, so there was a dude, I remember he was in the room with us, and it came up before. I can't remember his name. He was a creep. I remember he looked like R.A. the Rugged Man.
Okay.
And this guy, so all three of us are doing the like leg twitching. You know what I mean? Just up and down, like like on the floor. The dude in the middle gets the guy who has schizophrenia is quiet on the other side of the room. And he hadn't said anything that entire meeting. He suddenly just kicked the chair out from behind himself, walked up to the guy who, I don't know why he chose him out of the three of us, but all three of us were all with the right leg. You know what I'm talking about? Like doing that jittery move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All three of us were doing that, and he chose the guy in the middle and like just boom, punched him in the face. An extreme punch. The guy's nose was gushing blood, and then the only thing that I remember I said to him was like, "That was unnecessary."
That was unnecessary.
At 15, I shouted at this fucking schizophrenic man, "That was unnecessary." And then he looks at me. He looks at I saw the gears turning in his head like, I just did something wrong. And then he just went out the door. And then the cops came and took him away, and I obviously it's 15 years later. I haven't seen him since. But
It's very intense.
Yeah, it was some fucking crazy shit to see in real life, man. Especially when you're in rehab at 15. And I was in the you can't leave rehab. This is where you live rehab at that age.
Yeah, I have been in psych ward, which is like something that I think a lot of people rap about because it fits a rhyme scheme well.
Yeah.
But like I've actually been in psych wards, and one of my when I was a kid, they used to bring all these different speakers in to talk to us about why we should never like stop taking our medicine. And I remember one being this guy who was in a wheelchair, and he was like, "Don't ever drink, drunk drive." And I drank and drive, and I ended up in a wheelchair, and it was just like it was such a horrific story. But I remember very clearly being like, "All right, well, that's not my problem. They're giving me fucking." Like all the drugs they're giving me, I'll probably never be able to drive, let alone like do any like hazardous activity for myself.
You don't drive?
And so, like, no, I do drive. I have a driver's license, but I'm a bad driver. I'm one of those people who is like, I'm neurotic, so I like when I'm driving, I'm constantly thinking ahead to the next scenario where I'll kill myself. I'm just
okay.
Like,
I see.
All right, I'm gonna take this turn, and then I'm gonna die, and like. So I very much am like, I take the bus, and I fucking enjoy taking the bus, and I look forward to taking the bus, and I'm going to continue taking the bus. And, like, that's one of the ways, like, me and Sakai, like, shouts to Sakai, got close. Is like, we used to just, like, ride the bus places and, like, chill. And, like, you know, it was like, he's a dude who, like, I was in a group with Sakai for 2 years. A really, I think, locally successful group, and we put out a project, and like it was one of those things where like I felt like I was ready to be the lead singer of the band, and Sakai was obviously at that point the lead singer of the band, so there was nothing to do. But you know, like that's I think one of the things missing from the hip hop community out here is like really hanging out with each other. Is like, you know, dude, Facebook has made it so like I have friends who are rappers who I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know these dudes.
Yeah.
And like there's dudes who I have like co-signed in the past who I don't know, and like that's fucking weird. And like
the internet is making things really weird. It doesn't feel organic, you know. It's weird because I don't really have any like experience trying to have a music career without there being some sort of social networking. I mean, even when I was starting out, AIM at one point was kind of like Facebook. You could pull up all your friends.
Shit.
Yeah, you could pull up all your friends and you could leave a status of what you were doing, you know? It was like
AIM was like the easiest way to get like 30-year-old women to flirt with you when you're like a creepy teenager. Like, yeah, she possesses breasts. This is gonna be great. Like, it wasn't even like now where you could send like video. It was just like, yeah, somewhere on the other line, I'm hoping this is like a fat man. I really hope this isn't a large man. Because there was always that chance. Like, I remember the commercials where it would be like, do you know who you're talking to? And it would just be like a fat, overweight white guy, like no hair, like eating Cheetos, like sexting
you mean
some kid.
I thought everybody on the internet was a fat, overweight white guy eating Cheetos.
That's just most battle rappers.
Yeah.
Are fat, overweight white guys. Most rappers are fat.
Yeah.
Most rappers are skinny people. Like
we are a bunch of weird looking people, though. Every battle rapper is just a fucking. What is that?
I want to tell a Bella Terra story while we're here, since we were both there. While we were at Bella Terra, this weird hippie kid starts following us around, and like nobody knows who he is, but he's got like a scruffy beard and he looks like an underdog, so we're all rooting for him. And he keeps saying, "I rap, I rap," and so like nobody really humors him because we all know rappers, and like a good rapper doesn't walk around saying, "I rap." Because they're confident in their skills, they don't have to say it. But this kid is following us around. It's fucking... Brash doesn't remember this because he was fucking on cloud 9. But this kid is, like, following us. And so at one point we get into it. We're in a tent after the beatbox battle, and we're about to cypher. And this kid is, like, while we're on stage, is looking at me. And what he's looking for is for me to say, like, come on down, kid. kid. You can join in with the gang. Like, he's looking for me to, like, give him some time to join us.
No shit. I know who you're talking about now. I remember this.
Instead, I just sadly shake my head at him. His girlfriend, who, like, honestly, his girlfriend is like a 6, and he's like a -3. So, like, he shouldn't be rapping. Whatever he's doing is working. Like, whatever, like, patchouli oil salesman he is like, successful for him.
Yeah.
But he's like, he really wants to rap. And I say no, and he gets the saddest look on his face and walks away. And at the end of the day, I walk by and, like, head to the car, and he gives me a look like I betrayed him. Like,
but he needs to stand up on his own 2 legs like a big boy, and if he wants to take the microphone, get up on stage and take the fucking microphone.
I would have bopped him with the mic. I would have bopped him. You don't get that. My thing is, like, you have to. I'm a big fan of paying dues. Like, yeah. I truly believe you pay your dues. Like, yep. I did tons of shitty shows, and I sucked in front of small crowds, and I earned the right to be there at Bellaterra. You know what I mean? I earned the right to battle rap. I earned the right to put out albums that people listen to. I paid my dues. And so when somebody who hasn't paid their dues just says, like, I rap, now give me this, I think it insults the entire culture.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you try to piggyback off of my hard work?
Yeah, I hear you. There are some people who actually, this bugs me too. There's some people who don't pay dues, but they act like what they did was they paid their dues. And they didn't actually pay any dues. They had somebody else's money do some talking for them, and that's what actually happened. By the way, you can't hear it, but this beat that's playing, I made this for my album Exit 6 that's coming out eventually. I don't know when I'm going to drop it.
Buy Brash's album. Put your fucking album out, Brash. That's the good thing about being an indie rapper.
Yeah,
Stop bullshit. Put that shit out.
Well, this is going to be, it's done pretty much except for 2 songs because I'm waiting on verses from people who don't, you know, but,
I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah, when
you're raising money too to get it, like, finished up.
Yeah, September 6th. Yeah, I just want to,
September 6th.
I don't know, it's not going to be a heavy hitter seller or anything like that, but, you know, I like moving forward, man. I've put out a CD a year since 2007, so if I don't put out a CD a year, I get, like, frustrated with myself, you know? But it's looking like this CD is going to be done before I put it out, so it's probably going to be done, and then I put it out probably 2014. I don't know, something about this year is just weird. But at least I did it, even though it's not out, you know?
My process to put out CDs is weird, and I've had other rappers be involved tell me that it's dysfunctional, but fuck them. I write for about 2 months. I edit really heavily. I'm a big fan of the writing process. I think that's where everything needs to get hammered out. But I record all my projects in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Everything I've ever put out has been recorded in 1 4-hour session.
Nice. And so you do like a whole record at once, basically.
And I release it within a week. So, like, whenever people are like, I'm waiting on this, and I'm just like, why don't you just put it out? Fuck it. Just put it out. Like, nobody...
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I might actually put it out digital copy for free and be like, pay if you want, please, because I'd like to put out this on an actual CD. But if it doesn't happen, I'm getting old.
Pay If You Want has been really successful for me. Yeah. I think that when people are given the option, really the people who can't pay for it wouldn't pay for it anyway, but will listen to the project, which is rewarding. And the people who can pay for it feel like they get to decide how much it's worth. And oftentimes, it's like, I average about $20 an album, but I've sold an album for $50, and I've sold an album for $2. You know what I mean? People have decided that the album is worth this much, but I think there's a amount of freedom in saying, like, if you think this is a $4 album, pay $4. But if you think this is a $30 album, pay $30. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let the music speak. I think that's the direction that music is taking, is like, especially with like crowdfunding, is saying like, if you really want to hear my record, I crowdfunded my last record.
Well, I've got a lot of fans, but they're all passive fans, so crowdfunding for me, I don't know if it would work or not. I'm more just trying to see what I can get out of this show on the 6th, and if I get like a decent amount of money, I'm really only aiming to do 100 copies this time. You know what I mean? Because
that's one of the things I love about you, is just like, even in discussing your album, you're just like, you know what, it'll probably fail.
Yeah.
And like 3 people will buy it, but fuck it, I'm gonna put it out anyway. And like,
yeah,
it's just like most rappers, like, this is the delusion. Most rappers are like, my next record is the one that's gonna blow up. And
yeah,
like,
I don't think so.
My next shit is so much better than my last shit. It's crazy. It's on a different. And like, the reality is, no, it's not. It may be a progression.
Yeah.
It may be a progression from your last shit,
like a personal progression. Yeah.
If you listen to most rappers, like, your style is your style, and what you can hope is that the trends move towards your style. Like, I've been lucky in that, like, I think hip hop in general is moving towards a more open, like, kind of bearing your soul venue. Like, but it's also moving towards the more hip hop. Like, you listen to the Kendrick Lamar verse, like, that shit is super hip hop. I don't think it's the best verse I've ever heard. Like, I know a lot of people were like, this is incredible. I don't think it was an incredible verse, but it was super hip-hop, and, like, I'm a rapper, and I think I'm better than this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And if that's a problem with any of those guys, they should say something about it. Like, to me, that was, like, one of the great things about when 50 Cent first came out. Like, whatever you think about his music was that if he didn't like you, he addressed it. And, like, that's what I loved about hip hop, was that, like,
super honesty,
and they addressed it in music. You know what I mean? Like, if I have beef with another rapper, we both make rap. Rap is an aggressive art form. We should address it in rap. Yeah. Here's something that a lot of people don't know. Me and Sakai have diss records out against each other.
No shit.
We have released. I released on my debut EP. I have a song called Somebody How to Get Off of the Clinic, which is over a Gautier sample, where one of the verses is like a very thinly veiled reference to Sakai. And Sakai responded like on some super hip-hop shit, like, shut your mouth. And like, I respected him, and after that, me and him were able to talk and be like, yo, we both have kids, we both respect each other and like each other. Like, it had to happen. But like,
that's cool, man.
That was so hip-hop to me, like, that we were able, but we both, neither of us, like, we didn't take the songs down, like, the songs exist. You know, I performed the song.
I don't know.
I've performed the song in front of it.
I've always had thick skin, man. There was a time in my life where I was like super sensitive, and then I realized that everybody poking fun at me, that those feelings that those people have, they evaporate. They're not permanent. Mm-hmm. And with hip hop, it's really fun to be able to make fun of somebody, to like break somebody down into like a cartoon character version of themselves. Like Illiterate does not look like a cross between Screech and McLovin, but he is not a windsurfing cunt face, which I was telling someone today about that line. Is like, I love your random outburst lines. Like, I know you build them into, like, they're supposed to be the middle of a scheme. Yeah. But like, windsurfing cunt face should stand alone. Like, I would have screamed that at the beginning. Like, just started with like, you windsurfing cunt face, bang, and then started rhyming. Like, cause like, you look like a melted piggy bank is classic, and like, those weren't supposed to be like big things. You know what I mean? Like, that's a huge thing. Yeah. Those were just supposed to be like filler to me. To me, that's filler. Just name calling. You fucking melted piggy bank cunt face shit. You look like the melted piggy bank is fucking awesome. Whereas like that same event, I battled Logic, and like, I'd made the decision beforehand that I wanted to go like a lot more scheme heavy, because I think I hadn't done that before, and I wanted to like see if I could do it. What was the Venom thing that you did? I can't remember. It was a really dope line. Peter Parker swag, you lack the Venom for this carnage. Nice. Which was like, I fumbled into it, and like, and on hearing it, I was just like, I picked literally the worst spot in the battle to stumble. Because I stumbled into the line, and it was like such a solid line. Yeah, if you had, so disappointing. I did notice that. I didn't want to point it out and be a dick about it, but you had a stumble right when you said that. Super, super, probably the dopest line out of both of you in the entire battle, but it was a stumble, so it didn't hit as hard as it should. But people knew it was there, you know. It was a line that like when I wrote, I was like, okay, this is it. I had that line with Lyric where Lyric is the battle I had right before that. He's out of Vermont, and he's a super, super duper hip hop head. And so I saw this picture of him and Slick Rick, and I said, you would suck dick for signed Slick Rick vinyl.
he'd take anal from his idols and hope it went viral. And like after I delivered that line, I was like, okay, people went nuts for it. And I was like, people want. But Vermont was really weird because like my biggest reaction to that whole battle was saying I'm on that real nigga shit, and I was just like, and people were like, whoa, nigga. Like it was a room full of white people, and they were just like, yeah, fucking niggas. It was like so uncomfortable. Like I was like, I'm glad they're reacting, but like they're going crazy for this, and this is not a shut them down line. This is like very much a setup. And they were just like, niggas and words in this mother. And it was just like, oh shit, they really want to say it. Like they were hoping I would do it again and be like, no, you say it. Like, I'm on that real. And they're just like, niggas. Like, it was so uncomfortable. I was like, this room full of drunk white people really want to use the N-word so
it's
bad right
weird
now.
when you meet a white person that wants to drop the N-bomb. It's like, what is going on in your brain that makes that such an important word for you to say? Like some people, I noticed that some white people, when they fall into a situation where they can actually say the word nigger, that they what they do is they overuse it. You know what I mean? Or they use it in like a context that's just like, that's not really what we were talking about. Why are you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Y'all niggas over there doing nigga shit. What y'all niggas? They just like, whoa, hold on.
Whoa,
bro.
Little
extreme, sir. Yo, bro, me and my niggers. And you're like, what? Hey, sir. Like I've had that experience with like Celebrity Cell when I first met him. And like the funny thing is like me and him have all this venom between us. But the first time we were supposed to battle, I pulled out. You know, I had some issues with my throat.
That's when I met you. That's the day I met you.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, but I was like, the first thought in my head was like, yeah, but nobody lies and then comes and says it to their face. They just don't show up to the venue. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like they hide. And like, I told him at the thing, like I was like, I don't know, I might be all right, but like I'm pulling out so that there's a chance for you to get an opponent. And I went out of my way to try to get him an opponent. It just, I couldn't. But, so like when I see him, he's just like, what up, nigga? And I was like, oh, hold up, sir. Like you just spent like a month writing mean things about me. Like
we are not that cool, sir. You know,
we are not like, you don't know me. And like at this point, I'm living in Holyoke, which like if you're not familiar with Massachusetts, like wherever you live, there's a place where people don't go to hang out.
Yeah,
there's a place where you're like, okay, that place is fucked up, and that place is like Holyoke. And I lived in the projects of Holyoke. Like I lived in like a really shitty neighborhood, and so like for him to think that like on first impact he could just like nigga it up, I was just like, oh, he says this a lot. He drops this shit, and he's like a car salesman, which is the cutest thing at all. It's like I wonder if he's like, yo, you want a Hyundai, cunt, nigga? Like you just like he's just like, niggas, I got Hyundais over here. They're fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's just, does he say it at work, or is he like two different people?
He's probably two different people. At work, he's probably very yes sir, no sir. But I thought it was so bizarre how he called you out and was like dissing you in his battle against quote unquote Doc Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just I was talking to Illiterate, and Illiterate was like, yeah, he thinks that me and him are like above like everybody else in the league, and I just
Illiterate guys.
Yeah, no. That's what Illiterate said. Illiterate's a real dude. He didn't say that he agreed. He said that, I was talking to Celebrity Cell, and he thinks that I'm like way above everybody else. You know what I mean? Like he was like, Celebrity Cell thinks that he is like so much better than everybody else in the league, and I don't know what he bases that thought process on.
I would love to give a bit of an exclusive here. So here's the story of Celebrity Cell's Bellaterra experience. Celebrity Cell was supposed to battle a big American battle rapper. I would be one of the top 10 battle rappers in America.
Who?
On like some prime time shit. He was supposed to battle, I can't say the name because it still might happen. The guy might come to the league. But he was supposed to battle like a dude who has a URL battle.
For his first battle?
Name. His first battle was supposed to be with a dude who has a URL battle and a King of the Dot battle.
I guess technically Illiterate was his first quote unquote battle.
Yeah. But his first real battle was supposed to be up against a huge name. And you know, however that happened, it happened. But that battle fell through because Cell doesn't, whatever. He doesn't keep up his end of the bargain. So then they offer him me. And he says yes. And my thinking is he must have insanely good bars written. Like, so I write the best shit I can think of. Because I'm thinking, like, he's going to come with heat. But someone said that he wants to talk to me on the phone. And as soon as it happens, I realize he doesn't want to battle me. Because when I'm set to battle someone, I don't want to talk to him on the phone. Like, I don't want to humanize that person.
Yeah,
because I have to dehumanize them on a certain level.
Right.
So
that makes
I can't
sense.
talk to you on the phone. I don't want to realize that you have kids and a family and like a life.
I don't want to be friends until afterwards. Exactly.
Yeah, afterwards, like me and Lyric, like I fucking really like Lyric. I'm a fan of Lyric. But like before the battle, I had no time for any of that shit. Like people were like, hit him up and say hi, and I was like, not doing it. Not calling and not texting and none of that. Like, we're about to say horrible things to each other. Let's just do that. Like, and then after that, like, let's open the door up to, like, being cool. But, like, so as soon as I realized he wanted to talk to me, I knew he didn't want to do it. And then, like, it was the thing of, like, it was very clearly made to me that he didn't want to do it and that he had a really big story. And, like, he had a family tragedy, and then he didn't have a family tragedy. And,
that's
like,
weird. Yeah, he was bullshitting. It was definitely a bullshit.
I genuinely believe that Celebrity Sub doesn't want to battle me. And so, like, you know, they've offered me a makeup date, and, like, you know, I'll say it here first. I'm not taking it. This AKA battle is probably going to be my last battle for at least the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote the bars. I have them.
When is that battle going down, by the way?
That is September 13th.
Let's plug that. We got to wrap this up because we're at an hour, 5 minutes.
I'll plug. My next few things are September 6th. I will be performing at Brash's birthday party, / fundraiser for the kids and for his album. I'm pretty pumped about that. Sakai, Voorhees, Brash, Logic, kind of everyone except anybody is there. It's going to be a big deal. It's at Sully's in Hartford, $5. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. After that, September 13th, I have a battle at the Daylight event in Daylight. Will be performing at Bishop's Lounge in Northampton, Massachusetts.
He's doing like a set of music?
He's doing a set of ass naked with a shotgun, I hope 20 times. I'll be battling AKA, a Puerto Rican kid who I think is Irish from, I don't know where he's from. He used to say Watertown, but now he says Rhode Island. He has a neck tattoo. He's going to get his head knocked off. And then September 28th, I am emceeing at Rivoli's in Chicopee. I'm hosting the Rave for Boobies, which is going to be a fantastic event to raise money for breast cancer research and the like. So that's kind of my schedule. I have an album out, the Old Habits EP, the whole Old Habits album. It's not an EP. A collection of shorts on failure. You can find that at bjpen.bandcamp.com.
Get it. It's dope. I listened to the whole thing all the way through the other day. I was impressed with it. Who does your beats, by the way? Do you do your own shit?
I know. I use French trip-hop beats. I'm such a cheater. And some of them are from a guy named The Box Set, who is out of Northampton. That's featuring Joy Cons, who's my girlfriend. Jay Lee, kind of my whole network helped me make that album.
Word.
So,
all right, man.
Dope. Yeah.
Well, what I like to do to finish these up is, what song of yours do you want me to play on here?
Play Old Habits.
Old Habits. All right, cool.
Song.
What you guys are going to hear, what you guys are hearing here is Old Habits. This was the Art of Hip Hop. We're going to start broadcasting this live. This is one of the, I'm going to do one more pre-recorded show to get the podcast awareness going, and so that there's some back content in case you guys are fiending. But it's looking like the it's gonna. I'm not gonna say who it is, but it looks like I'm gonna have a pretty big guest for the first broadcast, and I'll have information on that soon. So, thank you guys for listening. Check the pilot episode with Logic of Penalty Box Music / iBattle. He talks about the iBattle League and the iBattle event that's going down on the 14th. I believe it's the 14th.
Yeah, it is the 14th.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of a big deal, man. So, check it out. He's got some information on that. And check out Miller at bjpenn.bandcamp.com. And yeah, this is the... What was the song one more time?
Old Habit.
Cool, man. Thank you for doing this.
All right,
Peace out.
You. Yeah, no problem. Peace.
Old habits, the addict side scheming on a dream. No new friends, just low self-esteem. Would you believe I'm 27 acting like a teen? Obscene how it feels like I'm choking on a scream. Predicting my demise like somebody would listen. Fictional depiction of a sane man's vision on a mission to feel before the Lord's risen. Crimson dripping, wise resignation like Nixon. Reaganomics raised me, they can't afford the baby. My loved ones will lie like they ain't know I was crazy. Skin getting pasty, phony big gravy, picking daisies, despite the now spreading rabies. Lately it's been too hot to spend time in your gulag. A few pop tires, blame it on the DuPont. Do wrong for inspiration to write a new song. Took a few months to learn my top isn't screwed on. A manic oddball, the squad even hates my guts fucked up. I only wanna wake up with a buzz, a wreck loose in love. Back on the drugs, knew I'd grow up to be somebody no one trusts. Old habits die hard or live to see a funeral. Business as usual, gone but it's beautiful. Love me, be dutiful, shit wasn't suitable. Doctors playing games with my needed pharmaceuticals.
Ma pauvre muse, qu'as-tu donc ce matin?